Hello everyone, this is Tim at Bolin Technology with another video in our Dante AV series, but this one is unique. And it's unique because Bolin makes a D20 series transceiver, meaning it can be an encoder or it can be a decoder. Now we've given you the ability to change from one type to the other. In other words, to make an encoder into a decoder or a decoder into an encoder. But instead of just telling you that, I'm actually going to show you how to do this. So let's take a look at Dante Controller. As you can see, we have a very small Dante AV network today. I have one Netgear M4250 PoE++ managed switch, and I have one D20H encoder. Now, how do I know it's an encoder? Well, I'm glad you asked that. I'm going to go up here and double click on the device to open up the device view. And the way I know for sure that it is an encoder is because an encoder's job is to transmit the Dante AV signal. On the receive tab, the only thing I see here is USB, IR, and serial. Over on the transmit side, I see all of the things, video and up to 8 channels of audio plus the USB, IR, and serial. So this is one way that I know for sure this is an encoder. Now we've used this for many things, and so there are subscriptions and multicast flows I'm not going to be using, but I'm going to leave that as it is. So we have a D20H encoder, and I need to be a decoder because my needs have changed. Yours might too. How do I do it? We're going to go over to bolintechnology.com and I'll show you exactly how. We're going to go to Bolin's website at bolintechnology.com. Let's go to the menu, choose Support, and we'll go directly to the Download Center. And we have a lot of cameras with a lot of software and images, so it may take a second or two for the page to load. Here we are. Download Center. The first thing on the left, I want to narrow down to the device I'm interested in. That would be the D series Dante AV line. Now I have one more choice to make. In my case, I have a D20H, so I'll choose that. And here we are. Product images, product information, and for us today, software. One option, and that is exactly what we want, the firmware upgrade for the Dante module. Now, I won't read this entire description, but I very much encourage you to, especially this part, which explains what you're about to do and the reason or how to determine exactly which one of the firmware files you need. Remember, our goal today is to change our encoder to a decoder. So to do that, we're going to download the Decoder firmware update. Before that though, we're going to check Dante Controller to be sure it's the latest version, and then we've given you a link to Audinate's site to go and download the latest version if yours is not. Just as important is the Dante AV module firmware upgrade user guide. Please open that up, read it all from beginning to end. It's not very long. It is step by step. It tells you exactly what to do. It shows you the steps, what to expect, and what will happen at each step. So please download this and use it. But I'm not going to leave this page before telling you this. Dante Controller has a firmware update module. Don't use the firmware updater from within Controller. Download Update Manager, which is what we're about to do. Before we go any further, I also want to mention it is best practice to go into your security settings and turn off both the public and the private firewall. For this process, turn them right back on after you've finished, but it really is best practice to turn those off. So thank you also for doing that. So we're coming back here to our Download and Help Center, and here is the file that we want, D20H Decoder Firmware Upgrade. We're going to download it, click Yes. One little oddity of Edge, which I'm using today, is that it will download it twice. Let's open up the file location, but here they are. We'll double click to extract them. I will extract them into downloads. That's quick. And here's our folder. Now inside our folder, there are 4 files. This top one is the firmware file. Notice the D in the name. That's for Decoder. We're going to need this file in just a minute. There's our Dante AV Module Firmware Upgrade User Guide. Thank you for reading that. We've got a README at the bottom. Please read that. And here is the Dante Firmware Update Manager installer. I'm going to agree and choose Install. Click Yes, and the process begins. This only takes a few seconds. It's a very small file. Here we go. And the process is complete. So we're going to click Launch. Now, if you already have Dante's Firmware Update Manager, obviously you don't need to do this again, but this is assuming it's the first time you've installed it. So here we are. We're on an Ethernet network, remember? One cable here to our switch. We'll click Next. We're going to update Dante firmware. It wants to know which file. So the browser opens up in a different spot, but remember, Downloads is where our folder is, and there is that same file, D for decode. Open, and we're ready to go. We'll click Next. It's going to do a search of your Dante network. That's the gear down here in the lower right. There's only one device, so it'll just take a few seconds. And our D20H will appear. There it is, D20H encoder. Yes, I'm going to select that one. We're ready to start. Here we go. We're going to click OK because we understand we should not power the unit off during this process. Here we go. Now, the time from beginning to end is going to be shortened for the purposes of this video, so let me tell you, this can take about 5 minutes. But I didn't think you wanted to sit there for 5 minutes and watch me sit here and wait for the process, so I'll see you in just a few minutes. And we're back. Thanks for waiting. And savvy viewers will also notice my battery was running low, so I needed to plug in my laptop. Sorry about that. Here's the message you get. 1, devices have been upgraded. Okay. And notice 2, update done. Now there's one more step, and this one is really important. So we're going to go back to Dante Controller. I'm going to look at my device info tab, double click on my D20, choose device config at the bottom, reboot. Now you might be asking, could I have just powered it on and off? Yes, I could have, but I wanted you to know if this unit is sitting somewhere else on your network and not just a few inches from you, this is the way you do it. So we're going to click reboot. It wants to know, are you sure? Yes, I am. Once again, this process takes a couple of minutes, so I'll go away, but I'll be right back. And we're back. I missed you. All right, so our device is rebooted, and the moment of truth is going to come over here. When we look at the Receive tab, that is exactly how it should look. Remember, we had a D20H encoder. But now, in the transmit channel, we just have USB, IR, and serial, and that's because our device is now a decoder. And we have succeeded. Notice too now, the model name is Bolin D20H Decoder. Now there is one final step today, and that is, I think, pretty classy. When the unit ships as an encoder, it's got this beautiful sticker right on the front that has an E for encoder. But because we're Bolin, we thought, well, if you change it to a decoder, you're going to want that sticker to read D for decoder. We thought of you. All you need to do is peel the E away and replace it with, and hopefully you'll line it up better than I just did, but this is live, replace it with a D. And now, I really hope you get that straight. This was a different kind of video for us, but a really important one, and I thank you for watching. As always, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and turning on notifications so you'll know when we have important information like this. We appreciate your viewing. We appreciate the fact that you're part of Bolin's family, or if you're not, that you soon will be. Again, I'm Tim with Bolin Technology, and I'll see you in the next video.